Hey guys, welcome to the Dark Tales to True Friend horror story. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to enjoy more horror stories. My name is Sophia and I reside in a small town called Grooming, Texas. This story, however, isn't about me but rather my cousin Alex, who hails from Oklahoma. As he prefers not to discuss this incident, I decided to share the account on his behalf. During a school break, my family decided to make the most of the time off by inviting some relatives over to spend the week with us. Alex was one of those family members who joined us. When he arrived later in the evening, we decided to keep ourselves entertained by playing games and chatting. I took out my Nintendo Switch and we indulged in a fun game of Mario Kart for about an hour and a half. As the evening progressed, our parents informed us that they were heading to our grandparents' house for a drink. While they left, my sister stayed on the couch and my older cousin, Abel, chatted with his friends on his phone. Everything seemed fine at first, but I noticed that Alex's phone kept receiving calls and messages at regular intervals. Curiosity got the better of me, and I asked Alex about the constant notifications. He nervously laughed it off and said it was nothing, just some annoyance from a friend. Despite my insistence, he brushed off my inquiries, and I eventually gave up, deciding to focus on our games. As the night wore on, we grew bored of gaming and settled down to watch a movie with leftover pizza and fruit punch. At some point, Alex excused himself to use the bathroom, but his phone rang again as he left. Curiosity struck me once more, and I peeked at his notifications. I noticed a series of disturbing messages from someone named Johnny, whom I knew to be Alex's closest friend. The messages were aggressive, filled with slurs, and threatening violence. Johnny seemed to be infuriated with Alex and claimed to know where he was, demanding Alex's attention. One message even mentioned being outside the house and threatening to force his way in. Panic gripped me, and before I could share the news with Alex, we heard a loud crash, the sound of shattered glass. We rushed into the room where my sister was, and my older cousin quickly followed, locking the door and calling the police and our parents. My sister was in tears, and I felt my vision blur, but I managed to keep my composure. We all hid under my sister's desk while waiting for help. Outside, Johnny continued to pound on the door and yell threats. It felt like an eternity until the police sirens wailed, followed by a flood of officers storming in. Johnny was apprehended, and we saw him being forcefully restrained by the police. He was covered in bruises and scratches, and his anger-filled eyes locked onto us as he was taken away. In the aftermath, we learned that Johnny had broken into our house through the kitchen window, armed with a pistol and intent on harming Alex. As it turned out, Johnny had fallen into a dangerous path of drug abuse and wanted Alex to join in. When Alex refused and reported Johnny's behavior with the help of another friend named Carlos, Johnny turned violent and issued threats. Johnny was eventually charged and sentenced, but this terrifying ordeal left lasting emotional scars on Alex. He sought professional help from a therapist and focused on preparing for his upcoming graduation. Meanwhile, I was just starting high school and I couldn't fathom a more horrifying experience in my life. Let's get into the second story. When I was 13 years old, my best friend Cora and I were sent to a summer camp together. Our friendship had a unique history as our mothers were best friends from high school, making us close since birth. During our time at the summer camp, we became good friends with two boys, twins named Nathan and Joshua, who shared our cabin. There was another girl in our cabin named Ellie, whom we initially didn't pay much attention to. However, over time, we decided to make an effort to get along with her, and she became part of our group. Fast forward 2 years later, we were now 15, and Ellie's behavior began to change. She became excessively friendly with Nathan, which bothered Cora since she had feelings for him as well. I didn't pay much attention to this at first, thinking Ellie was just trying to be nice to the twins. However, it became apparent that Ellie had developed an unhealthy obsession with Nathan, and we all started to avoid her. After graduating from college, we all moved in together. Cora and Nathan became a couple, and I also started dating Joshua. One night, Ellie reached out to both Cora and me through a group chat on Snapchat, saying she was in town and wanted to meet up. While we were hesitant to see her again, we eventually decided to meet in a cafe. During our meeting, Ellie's behavior was unsettling. She hugged Nathan excessively, and he found it threatening. After the meeting, Ellie told us that her boyfriend had kicked her out, so we offered her a place to stay for the night. Cora and the boys were not pleased with this decision. The following morning, we discovered a disturbing scene in the guest bedroom where Ellie stayed. Bloody knives were laid out on the desk, and the walls displayed photos of us with X's marked on mine and Cora's faces. It was evident that Ellie had been stalking us. Feeling alarmed, we called the police. Ellie was subsequently arrested for raping men in their hotel rooms and attempted murder. We also received a message from a girl named Jenny, who used to know Ellie from camp. Jenny shared that Ellie had previously tried to pursue Jenny's older brother, leading to her transfer to our cabin. Furthermore, we learned that Ellie had orchestrated a previous break-in. The incident left us shaken and fearful, realizing the true extent of Ellie's dark intentions. It served as a stark reminder of the dangers of obsessions and the importance of being cautious and vigilant about the people we let into our lives. Our friendship with Ellie turned into a horrifying experience that none of us will ever forget.